Hello and welcome to Movie Phone, brought to you by the Dallas Morning News and 106.1 Kiss FM.
The movie phone.
Remember when you
Yes.
That's how I wanted to start that out.
I remember when I used to do that, and then I remember getting busted by Michelle, the mom, when I called like the 1-800 numbers that actually cost something.
They cost money?
Yeah. Like the 900 party line or whatever. Did you ever do that?
No.
I did it one time, and that's all it took for her to scare the living crap out of me.
I would have been so pissed.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Well, yeah, it's funny because when I would call Shane when we were using landlines back in the day, and he would always answer and do that.
Do the movie.
And just throw me completely off guard.
Shoot.
Good times.
We used to watch the Robert Tilton live and call.
You did.
Yeah, I did. It was fun.
When you would get tears mailed to the house.
And I would get tears mailed to the house. Yep.
Colt.
And a prayer cloth.
Come on.
I know. I mean, not because I was worshiping him, because I thought it was funny, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But,
okay.
yeah, it wasn't like
I
was actually collecting it.
I thought you were serious about it.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'd probably be
that makes more sense.
I'm more culty now than I was back then.
Culty. She said culty.
Culty. What's going on?
Well, so yeah, I mean, we both pretty much woke up to Joe Biden allowing Ukraine to use long range missiles.
What
now.
is going on with that?
They're nuts, dude.
You know, I mean, I just know and feel that they're not going to let Trump come into power. They're just going to pull out every single stop possible.
It's so shady to do that right now.
It is.
Yeah, sure. And that was so funny at that video I watched where he was at the climate summit in Brazil, and he just kind of stumbles off.
Yeah.
And nobody knows where he's going.
Into the rainforest.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody back there.
He went into, it's like that Simpsons clip where Homer backs into the trees.
The shrubs.
Yes.
And then what a joke and slap in the face to be at a climate summit or whatever you want to call it, promoting this climate bullcrap while giving them
the A-OK for missiles to get shot.
Like, what kind of climate future do we have if nuclear war happens?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, what is the point of saving the planet if you're about to blow it up?
Well, I know, and that's like Putin said. He's like warned multiple times, if you use long-range missiles into that's an act of war from the United States to us.
Every single thing Putin has asked them not to do, they keep doing. Which is why he's
poking the bear.
Yeah. And it's because I think they want to infiltrate Russia too. I mean, they've managed the West and all of its powers, whether they're good or bad, they've wanted to plug into every single region on the planet.
Spread democracy.
Yes, democracy, when really we know it's probably just all about money and all about resources.
Gotta get them resources.
Get them resources, honey.
Yeah, man, it's so crazy to wake up to that.
But Putin's not wanting that. He doesn't want that. So he is trying to stand up for himself. And meanwhile, our damn news is acting as if, he's the evil one.
Big time bad guy.
Yeah.
Big time bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. From what it looks like to me is that he's just trying to, conserve their sovereignty and their traditions.
Their way of living.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, this whole idea of like, we got to spread democracy all over the world is insane.
Well, and then if you really dig deeper too, it's like just a reason to place our military all over the planet, you know?
Well, they said 700 something military bases across the globe.
Yes.
Something like that.
Pretending that it's like wrapped in compassion, that we're trying to help people. And we never do. We always blow their land up and hurt them and kill them and bring all kinds of problems to them. Not democracy.
It's crazy. Put these long-range missiles into the hands of one of the most corrupt countries on the planet.
So what does that mean, the long range?
They can shoot them into Moscow, and they have.
I thought they had done that before.
Well, they did. I think they shot one.
Maybe drones versus.
Yeah, I think that was a drone.
Yeah.
And then these will go further into, Russia territory where they can really do some damage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's just not against that. That's against the rules, rather. I think that was like set up in the very beginning of this whole thing was Putin's rules. You can't do that, you know. And if U.S. is stamped on those missiles,
is it a war crime?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'd have to look into it more. There's so much. It's so hard to keep
or it
up.
was just off the table of
I think
using
it was just off
missiles.
The table. Yeah, and especially funded by the U.S. Which, I mean, the whole thing has been funded by the U.S. I mean, I guess, you know, in hindsight, he could have done that. Putin could have used that against us months ago, years ago.
Talk about a war machine, man.
I know.
It's so ridiculous.
I know, but then you and I were watching that Sean Ryan show where Sean Ryan and Pete, how do you say his name?
Hegseth.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were discussing how our military really is not that great right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of amazing people in it. There's a lot of special ops forces that can get jobs done, but your basic military that they're
as a whole
that
was pretty wild to listen to.
And he even said that might be part of the suffering that we have to go through, is seeing, like, one of the things that would wake America up is seeing our military fail and not be capable of doing
some battles.
And we're supposed to have the Iron Dome installed or something, right?
They keep talking about that Iron Dome that's in Israel that we fund. Don't we fund the Iron Dome in Israel?
And the research I've done is we fund. I mean, Israel is the richest place on the planet, I think. So I don't know why we fund Israel so much. I know you and I were talking about looking into Zionist and things like that, and seeing like where that rabbit hole.
Complicated.
But it's so freaking complicated.
It doesn't smell right to me. The whole Israel thing doesn't smell right. I had no idea that the U.S. basically sucked off Israel so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I had no idea that they had the influence they had.
Yeah, Israel has the influence over us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I had no idea until October 7th, and I started listening to it, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Right.
We've got all this AIPAC, and every senator and congressman has they have their own AIPAC guy. It stands for, I think it's AIPAC. I don't know. I have to look it up.
But I mean, what's the point? Is it just money?
They're a
lobbyists.
Yeah, lobbyists.
Oh yeah.
For Israel, and that's the thing, and that's what they were saying with JFK. Is like he was trying to make AIPAC like a foreign entity type deal where they couldn't put in much influence.
Absolutely.
And then shortly after he was assassinated.
Yes, and that's what I was just saying this morning. I was looking up all of that information about Zionism and all that, and it really was JFK who was starting to expose that and expose all the ties and all of, like Trump's trying to do, with all of the heads of government and the different entities that they've made, and the Department of this and Department of that and all of this. And JFK said something to the effect of, there is a plot in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child.
Right.
And then he was assassinated 7 days later.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. I mean, to me, it feels like somebody does not want the veil to be lifted at all, at all costs. Right. Even Trump coming into office, at all costs, they're going to go to war.
Yeah, World War III. And we kind of had a feeling that it might go that route.
Absolutely. Because if they're going to uncover a bunch of this criminal activity within our government, I mean, people are scrambling.
Yeah.
I guess.
They'll probably stop at nothing to make sure
Stop at nothing, you guys.
Yeah, Ukraine. And I mean, and you don't hear hardly anything about the Ukraine war until now. This is the first time I've heard anything about it in months.
Yeah. I know. And like a year.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, what about these Ukrainian men? They've gone from, recruiting men in their 20s, or actually forcing them to go on to the draft.
Yep.
It's all the way up to like 45-year-old men now, 50-year-old men.
Yeah.
They're
running out of
wiping out the men in Ukraine.
Which is what they were warning about in the beginning of the war. Trump was saying that too. Yeah. It's like, you're going to kill generations of men.
And they don't care.
And they don't freaking care. And I was studying a little bit more about the Palestinians that are being killed.
Palestinians.
And how how many are being killed. And that's not reported at all. It's like Israel or nothing. You either support Israel or you don't.
Yeah, it's strange. Well, and then they say 50% of the population in Palestine are children.
Yes. Yeah,
so
they say it's like 50% is 15 years and younger, and 70% or something is like 25 and younger or something. They're young.
They're starving them.
A lot of I actually heard that they not only are starving them, but they're killing newborns.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I've heard. I mean, you know, you don't want to believe it, but
yeah, that whole situation just doesn't smell right to me. It hasn't since the very beginning. Like, and it looks like false flag operations, or you know, creating a reason to go after these people.
Do you think they're creating the reason to go after Iran? Or
well, yeah, I'm sure that's a bigger part of it too.
Right.
It's so funny because they say they were kind of floating out the idea that it was Iran that tried to assassinate Trump before. I don't buy it.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't either.
I think it was our deep state government.
Yeah.
I just do. Yeah. And this is the thing too. I was thinking about Butler is you know, that kid went in there. He had to have known that he was going to be killed. Like that had to have been a suicide mission.
I think so.
I mean, he had to not thought that he was going to get out of that alive.
No, it was on purpose. He knew he would be killed.
Wild.
Which is the same kind of creed that they follow when they're following like Allah and stuff like that. You know, like the suicide bombers blow themselves up. Well, I'm just saying that kind of religion gets into someone's head, or that kind of purpose will get into someone's head, and they're going to be, you know, completely sold out to do something like that. Like he truly believed Trump
he was going to be some kind of hero,
or that Trump was Hitler and he was saving democracy. You know, they've got him brainwashed.
I think there's so much more to that.
Yes,
than just this rogue kid that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So much more to it.
I think that they've infiltrated.
And I don't think it's Iran.
No, I don't either.
Just for some reason I don't, because they're trying to get Trump because of the Soleimani thing, and it's like, dude,
what's the Soleimani thing?
That's that leader of Iran that Trump bombed. He cried like a dog.
Yeah, he cried like a dog. That's right. Yeah, and that was a big one too that he took out. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, like, I guess at some point, people are going to just stop trusting everything they hear. I mean, like we have and other people have.
Most of them.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah. But man, I still see it. It's crazy. I still see it online.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Brainwashed.
That's what I was going to say also about Pete Hegseth. And like, I would go and listen to the news channels, and they would be like, he's just some Fox reporter.
Yeah.
And no, dude has 2 Bronze Stars. He's knows about the military firsthand. Yes. And all you got to do is go find these people on a podcast. You'll find out everything you possibly can about them. But people won't do that. Mm-hmm. They'll just repeat these clips from the mainstream media.
What's interesting?
He's a Fox reporter.
I know. It's like, dude, or that he has
listen to. After we watched that podcast yesterday, I was like, okay, this dude's legit.
And he's graduated from Yale or Princeton. I mean, he's a smart man. He's been in the military. He's also been into journalism.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things he can offer.
Super smart dude.
Super smart dude.
And I didn't,
Christian.
I didn't see that coming at all. I was like, wait, he's getting Pete to be the Department of Defense. And so, but after that, I started hearing all kinds of stuff and like his views on the military and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this guy's legit, and he's young, like you were saying.
Very young, very good looking.
Slick.
He's a cutie.
I call him Slick.
The whole cabinet's turning out to be kind of cute, honestly.
Let's get these pretty people in here.
Let's make America hot again.
Yeah. He's doing work, man. He's already doing. But I guess the Senate has to approve his taps or his
yes, they have to approve his picks. I
didn't realize that.
Yeah, which is great. You know that they have to have something in place.
Yeah, makes sense.
It just depends on if the Republicans in the Senate are going to go against the grain or not, go against Trump or not. I don't think they will. Yeah. We'll see. I'm sure there's other laws in place. If they do say no, he could probably file this or that. I mean, who knows how many different laws are in
place. And this is the strange thing too, is a lot of the people that he has picked have been against Ukraine, but real quiet about Israel. Yeah. And they all seem pretty pro-Israel. So that's I've got my concerns and about that. Like,
it's very interesting.
It's crazy.
It's hard to understand it, because it's like, as somebody who loves the Lord and has read the Bible and does worship and does go to the Lord to like seek wisdom and stuff, the peace and the love is supposed to be for all. It's not just for your enemies, or just for, everyone but the Palestinians or everyone but Iran. Right. It's like, how do you justify killing and all of this violence and all of these things that we have no idea. We're not seeing the kind of stuff that's happening. No. You know that it's horrific stuff. Yeah. I mean, on all sides, war in general is going to be terrible. That's
what I don't get. Let's end all the wars.
I know.
I know. Like, 2024, we don't need to be
having war.
In these land disputes and stuff. I mean, it's 2024.
I know.
But see, that's what I like about Trump, though, is that, like, when he gets in office, I do feel confident that he will take both Zelensky and Putin to the negotiating table.
I mean, I feel
very
he's
confident about
trying.
that.
He already has.
He's already working on
it.
it.
In the middle of that, Biden comes out and approves this. So it's like,
dude.
And you know what? Again, every single thing that happens that just seems so unnatural and so inhumane, I just feel like that'll push people even more towards the truth.
Right.
The more crap that our government approves and does and pushes, the more it'll come to light. And that's the only thing I keep holding my breath on, is like, okay, well, if this is what it takes, But in the meantime, understanding why and all the systems in place, and for however long they've been
history.
In place.
Yeah.
Like, you always see that 5D chess.
Yes, 5D chess.
I mean, people have been playing that.
For decades.
For a long time.
Yeah, man. It's wild.
Yeah, it's weird. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, man. It's ridiculous, too.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I just know that January, I was watching some Turning Point clips and stuff of Steve Bannon and all those kind of people, and they were talking about getting Trump into the White House, and that the stretch of not just him winning, but actually getting to January 20th is going to be a nightmare scenario.
Dude. I know.
And it sounds like it's turning out to be that way. Like, they're going to pull out all stops, I mean, what happens? I wonder if there's something in place that says if a war starts that presidents can't be switched.
Yeah, there was something. I had heard something like that. Like, if World War III were to break out, then they But I think I don't know, man. That was like before the election and before somebody was decided.
I don't know.
So I don't know if, like, during campaigns.
We need to look it up, though.
Yeah,
because there is the Presidential Emergency Act.
Right.
That is very controversial, and I need to look more into that. But that's something that, do you remember when Biden sent out that first emergency alert? It was like the very first government emergency alert.
Really
supposedly
creepy.
That's tied into it too, so that if World War pops off, we can
be
under lockdown. We can be under. Well, he can just enact anything he wants to.
Do whatever he needs to do.
Yeah, because we're at war.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's crazy, all the stipulations for different scenarios, and then they can turn around and try to create those scenarios.
I know. That's another thing I was looking into, the law, and how the law is so misconstrued, because once somebody has a law in place, they can add another law debunking that law, or having a loophole in this certain legislation that allows for this and that, appropriations, all that kind of. I'm like, well, what's the damn point of having anything set in stone if you can just go and change it all up,
Yeah. It's
so interesting.
Yeah, it's complicated, and they make it that way.
They make it complicated on purpose.
It's wild, man.
And I mean, the Bible does say that. I've always thought about that. Like, the devil is confusion. I mean, confusion. Confusion causes chaos. Order is of God.
Makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
I can't believe he is going to do that.
Yeah.
After an election, after the people have spoken, said we don't want this shit. I'm gonna go ahead and use those long-range missiles.
Has he even been on TV, like, saying anything about it besides the climate control or whatever?
I don't think so. All I know is he had that meeting with Trump, and with that big old shit-eating grin on.
Yeah, he was happy. but then they get a hold of them behind the scenes. And we cannot forget that this is also the president that was so in cahoots and was a vice president of Obama. And Obama has ushered in some of the worst.
Joe didn't make that call.
No.
Joe definitely didn't make that. We all know he didn't make that call. No. So is that Obama making that call?
No, I just think it's the deep state. The bureaucrats. The bureaucrats. The people. Blinken. Maybe it's the 12 original families. Maybe it's.
It goes deep.
Who knows?
It goes deep.
Somebody's pulling the strings though, and they are scared shitless that America voted for Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that I do feel they did not expect it the first time, and they definitely didn't expect it this time.
Yeah, I wonder if they're backtracking going, oh my God, these people do have some power.
I know. And how pissed they are that it was put into place like that votes matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only saving grace that we have is that those American people will stand on the fact that votes matter and that we chose this president as a whole.
Yeah, it gives
and you better get out of the way because we also have the Second Amendment. If you don't, you have to get out of the way and let us have the president we want.
Yeah, dude.
Will they do that? I mean, the only thing they can do is knock them down on a global level, which looks like what they're doing.
Yeah, this is what crazy. Blows my mind too about the whole Israeli situation too, is that like, when you think about history and you start learning some real history about it, it goes so deep. And all the way, like you said, back to the 12 families or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's crazy, dude. Like, how deep does it go? What's really what is Israel really under control by?
Well, I don't know.
And like, they created this country back in 1945,
mm-hmm.
47, something like that.
Mm-hmm. When they said that they could all go back home and this is the land of the
There's so
Jews.
much to it.
Yeah. But then before that, they had pushed out the original people were supposedly the Jews.
Hundreds and hundreds of years before
and then they had come in and pushed the Jews out, and then America basically said that the Jews could go back home, and I would think it's 1945, maybe something like that.
But and they created the state of Israel.
Yeah.
But see, I mean, I'm wondering, like, was that with the the push from like the international banking system, or
that's what I think.
These people that were like, hey, we want to do this and build this country of Israel. And it's funded by these big banks, Deutsche Bank or whatever, like
where all the real money is. Yeah. Kind of like Switzerland.
Yeah.
Well, and they say too that like Washington D.C. is its own republic actually.
Oh yeah, that's a weird.
Israel,
that's super weird.
Yeah, that and there was another one. What was it? It's 3 different places that are basically their own republic, and they can do whatever they want. I can't.
Texas?
Yeah, right. I know.
I'm just kidding.
I know, and I wish we would. We would do whatever we want, but they've. Oh, and that's what I was gonna say too. Is like infiltrating, like the evil people, whoever whatever that means. I know that's like kind of a weird term, very broad. But whoever the evil people are that have infiltrated our systems, they did it through the military. They did it through the educational system.
Yeah,
they did it through the health department. All of those institutions, and so. From what I can tell, Trump and Steve Bannon and all of Trump's people are threatening those institutions. Yeah. And that's what's causing all of this upheaval,
Well, I mean, they're ruffling the feathers of everything.
Yes.
Really.
Yes. Oh, here it is. It was City of London, the Vatican, and the District of Columbia. The Vatican.
Dude,
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, dude. The Vatican's trippy.
It's so crazy. And they have their own rules. They have their own government, their own system, their own judicial system. I mean, I don't know. What I'm pissed about is how come I'm not pissed that we've been raised to follow the rules, but that we all have to follow the rules. Meanwhile, they don't. Like literally all of these other...
They write the rules.
I guess so. Yeah. But God writes our rules.
Well, yeah.
And that's what's really going to be the head, I think, is the Christians versus the entire freaking world, it feels like. I don't know. I mean, that's what it feels like.
I don't know, man.
And then, do you know anything about the Space Force? Did Trump establish the Space Force?
He started the Space Force.
Okay. Well, that's another little theory, is that Space Force is actually where he gave them all of the information he could possibly find when he was president to start debunking. I mean, not debunking, but start bringing down these institutions. And it's Space Force that actually has all of the information.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read about that too.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's really code for, Trump gave them over all the secrets that are going on. And that he, built Space Force to actually handle some of this stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Something else. It's probably QAnon or something.
Interesting theory. Yeah. Well,
what
I
else
wouldn't be
is
surprised.
going on in the news? Oh, and then just COVID too. I was reading back up about that. Oh, when we were talking about FEMA. And anyway, when COVID happened and how they established, FEMA.
Concentration camps?
Yes. Concentration camps. I mean, they put FEMA all over the place. And
I've been hearing about that for years.
No, but it was true. There's clips like England and other places that were really strict about COVID, even stricter than America. Yeah. They were fucking pulling people out of their houses and putting them in places quarantine under the guise of quarantining them. Yeah. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that could happen.
Well, and then you were saying that those monkeys got out.
Yeah.
And where was that at?
Was it Tennessee?
Tennessee.
I'm not sure, but those monkeys that got loose, there were like 40 of them or something. Yeah. And I guess I kind of thought they were at a zoo.
I did too, yeah.
But I think they were at an actual lab.
Oh, dude, that's wild.
They were tested on.
Oh, that's wild.
And they came on TV saying, "Don't worry, they weren't tested with like viruses."
Yeah.
Well, how do we know that? And it just wasn't a big deal. Like you saw it for a minute, but like crazy. Everything, they just run through
real
the news.
Quick, yeah.
Did they find the monkeys? Are all the monkeys back? Did the monkeys get anybody? Are people walking around like zombies?
Yeah, I know.
Like, are the monkeys biting? No.
I heard about that, but I didn't know. Yeah, you told me that it was a lab. And
it was a lab, not a zoo, which is. Yeah. I'm like, shoot. Also, have you heard about like Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, whatever their names are, them being more of part of the establishment?
I've heard that kind of thing. They're neocons. And, I've heard that. And that's the thing is like,
which
Marco Rubio, they were, a lot of people, independent journalists and podcasters like Jimmy Dore, they were really digging in and criticizing the Marco Rubio pick.
Right. Which is interesting because it's like, well, we're supposed to trust Trump to pick people that are going to blow up the establishment. Yeah. And if,
Well, it just, they were just saying that, Marco Rubio's quite a neocon, and him and Trump butted heads back in 2016 and stuff too. Because I think Rubio tried to run for president in the primaries. I think.
Interesting.
And I'm pretty sure Ted Cruz did too.
Yeah.
And so
there's a lot of people that don't like Ted Cruz too.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like Ted Cruz.
Which I don't know much about him. I should, since we live in Texas, but I just don't know the history of him. All I know is that he seems to have the Christian agenda too. He's smart. Yeah, he is a smart guy.
He's a really smart dude.
He says stupid things.
He was who was it? Alan Dershowitz was like a professor of his back in college, and Alan Dershowitz was like the dude's smart as hell.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I know neocon, man, neocon. That's I'm getting trying not to get dissuaded or frustrated at some of these picks because I am hearing a lot of criticism about them being neocons, and I'm like, Trump, come on, dude.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He, my favorite is that he tapped Tulsi.
Yes.
For head of national intelligence, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I like the new Department of Government Efficiency with Elon and Vivek.
Yeah. And the only criticism I have on that is like they did create a whole nother department.
Yeah, it's a whole new department. Well,
but hopefully they'll go in and eliminate all the rest of them that don't actually matter.
Oh, yeah,
but it's just funny that it's like yet another department.
Well, I mean, they're trying to, it's all about going after the government spending.
And did you see some of the government spending that they do?
Oh, stupid!
What in the world? And their research?
They'll fund like transgender classes in like another country. Right. Or some crazy shit.
Yeah. Or like food testing in another country.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Which who
it's
knows?
Just, it's
is that
just
money
laundering?
Yeah.
Oh, that's gotta be all.
There's another money laundering
scheme. Because it's like, can you imagine the amount of money all of us pay?
Yeah.
And I mean, do we even know how much money the government gets from us?
No, I don't know.
I think that was another thing they wanted is transparency.
Well,
they want to be able to show, okay, this is our budget. This is what we're doing. Yeah. This is where your money's going.
They need. I mean, just if they, if they could cut down all of that ridiculous shit.
Yeah. And then place it where it matters. There's a lot of things state to state that you can do for your people. And like, I always go back to, when we were kids and we didn't have a lot of money and all the different things that could have helped aid and like getting us to a better college or, something like that, and how the money could be well spent in so many areas that help America.
The homeless crisis.
Crisis.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people too that I've actually started looking up in North Carolina. Did you hear about them taking away their kids?
No.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of videos on it, TikTok too, and people coming out saying that when that went through North Carolina, the flooding and all of that, well, there's a lot of people that don't have a place to live. They don't have homes. And now the Department of Child Services are going in and removing the children for God knows what, because these people don't have like a secure place to sleep right now.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you take away your kids. If the kids need to get in a tent with mom and dad until your house is rebuilt, that's what the hell parents should be able to do.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, so they're going in. So that is a whole nother thing. Like, are they scooping up, weakening Mid-America, North Carolina, and all of that, and then scooping up the kids to do what with them?
What?
Again.
Yeah.
They love kids in this
government. I know, dude. What is the obsession with kids, dude?
I don't know.
And what they say, 300,000 missing migrant children.
Yes. And half of them are gone. They're probably gone forever.
And it blows my mind that some of these politicians are like, they're splitting up families and
That's
they're
what I mean.
Meanwhile they don't discuss the fact that 300,000 children have gone missing because of an open flooded border.
Yes.
Like, why don't y'all say you're not worried about that?
I know.
It blows my mind.
It's disgusting.
It blows my mind.
And that was the other thing I was writing down the other day is the child trafficking, and how, it's so interesting to me because I'll have these people on Facebook that I'll see, friends I grow, whoever it is, friends, quote unquote, and they'll be saying like, oh, I'm so worried about Project 2025. They're going to come and, make our kids military eligible, draft them. Like, there's all this stupid stuff that they say they're going to do. Well, if you cared about children, you would care about closing the border.
Yeah. You
would care about the pedophile rings. Do you know that Americans are the largest consumers in the world of child pornography, prostitution, sex trafficking, and drugs?
Yeah.
So if it's not me and you doing that, who is doing that?
Yeah, I know.
It's somebody in America.
And some of them have some pull.
And so, right, but I'm just saying, like, if you're going to be irate about children, be irate about the fact that half of them are getting molested and trafficked and sexually abused and changing the course of their entire life.
It's fucking evil, dude.
It's just, that should be like something that brings everybody together. It should have brought everybody together before, like the Epstein list and the Diddy situation and the borders and where are these kids going? Where did the kids in Hawaii go?
Yeah.
Where did the kids, what was it, south of the border go? I mean, there's so much trafficking. And
how did they get that way? I mean, how did we get to this point? And then, like, that's why. This is what we need to fix. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And then, like, remember, like, you showed me that clip of Michael Franchise, and he was talking to Suge Knight.
Yeah.
And Suge Knight was talking about Justin Bieber and
and they're saying, like, the news is saying Justin Bieber, like, hasn't been heard from in a few days and stuff, and his mental health, which, who knows how much of that is true.
Right.
But Suge Knight and other people, I watched some of that Jaguar chick.
Oh, yeah.
They are coming out saying that he was severely molested and raped and all kinds of stuff from this P. Diddy guy.
Like Diddy and
And then above P. Diddy is Clive Davis, and above Clive Davis is da-da-da, and I'm just like...
Music, what is going on?
Well, it's Hollywood, and Candace Owen has a theory that Hollywood was established for pedophilia purposes to begin with.
Well, yeah, and that and probably propaganda, and, propagandize, and then...
The Pentagon has a movie...
There's some real shady budget. People that founded it, you know what I mean? Like, it's probably an entire Satanist movement.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's good versus evil. And at the end of the day, as much as this is fun to look into and as much as we need to research this and figure out the truth, and I do feel like God reveals things and has revealed things to me and to you and to lots of other people for years and years and years. There's just this innate feeling that I have that there is not good things going on. And it's good versus evil, and it's like the Bible says that it's about Jesus Christ's return, I mean, as much as we want to pretend like, oh, it's so fanciful, is that the word? Whatever. That it sounds like a made-up story, this whole Jesus Christ thing, and did he really ascend to heaven, and did he really come back 3 days later, and how hard is that to really wrap your mind around? Well, they're sitting in Congress right now, the Senate, saying that UFOs are real.
Right.
They've been back engineered, and that we have things that are not of human origin.
Fascinating.
I mean, so if that's the case, then how maybe Jesus did ascend and is coming back? Like, things can be really weird.
I can get pretty wild. That's so crazy they did that. You know? Like, and I used, I've always loved that kind of topic.
You did, forever.
But I never would have thought that we would hear our own government come out and say that.
Yeah, and the way that he said it too. Well, there are lots of guys are saying it that are in the military, but that they're saying that this is not of any government no government has this technology.
They straight up admitted that this is not another government.
This is not created by any technological advances that we have.
So cool.
So where the hell?
That's so cool.
The ocean is coming from the ocean.
Yeah.
I know it is.
Dude.
It's coming from the ocean.
Somebody needs to dive into that.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah, because Elon Musk has said if there was ever anything weird I saw in all these satellite systems that I have all over the planet, I would say so.
Right.
But no one's saying that they're not coming from the ocean.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's crazy.
And that's not discovered. Like, there's lots of things that aren't discovered below the seas.
Yeah, I mean, there could be something in there that they go in and out of, and when they go in and out of it, they're in another planet, or you know what I mean, another part of the universe. It's crazy.
Yeah, like the hub stations and just a whole life under there that
like some kind of portal.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I think that there's gonna be a lot of
some weird
crazy things happening this year too, 2025.
Yeah.
If we can get there, we have January 20th, y'all. I don't know. Just keep praying. We saw miracles happen with Trump not getting shot in the head right in front of us. We saw him be elected. I think prayer is real, and I think the power of Christians and believing people of faith, I think their prayers have created this awakening.
Right.
And this, opportunity to see exactly what's going on.
It's crazy, man. They got, and so I'm interested to see Bobby in the Department of Health and what he ends up doing. But there was that picture.
I was gonna say with him eating McDonald's. What is wrong with that? It's so funny. People are so all or nothing.
Well, and Don Jr. posted it as a joke from the beginning, just because it was him with the Big Mac, and
of course.
He said it starts tomorrow.
Exactly.
But have a sense of humor about it.
Have a sense of humor, like we said.
Yeah.
You gotta have to have a sense of humor. People are multifaceted. You can have McDonald's one day and also be a health nut.
He could have been posing with that food as a joke in the first place. You never know.
It's like nobody on the left gets anything funny. It's like gotta be so freaking serious all the time.
It's any way to slam somebody or slander somebody and call them liars and stuff like that. It's
they're like, oh, look at him. I love all the memes that are out right now that are like a bag of potato chips with RFK's face in the bottom of it. Like, are you gonna eat this? Or like his face on people's fridges. Well,
it's 3,000 3,000 additives that they put in our food in America and only 300 in Europe. Like, what is that shit, dude?
I want to know why that happened and where were the good people then?
Yeah.
Stopping it.
They're selling their products in Europe. I mean, why do you have to put that shit in our food?
I don't know.
No wonder America is so overweight.
And who okayed it?
Yeah.
Who is okaying this?
Yeah. And why?
It doesn't make any sense, you guys.
And that's the thing is, like, it can't be, I mean, it couldn't really be for money because they're selling their products in other countries.
Yeah.
So it's not like the additives are making them more money, than other places.
I mean, maybe.
Like, why are you putting them in there?
Do you think that they could be in cahoots with medicine?
Yeah, that's the only thing I can really think of.
Yeah.
Is to make us sick so we can fill hospital beds.
Right.
And medications.
So that would mean the food industry is in bed with the pharmaceutical industry.
So corrupt. Dude, what is going on?
Why would you do that to your own people?
Yeah, man.
I wouldn't do that I wouldn't even do that to somebody I don't like. Like, here, drink this poison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
Much less your own country.
Yeah. Fluoride in water. I'm like afraid of water now.
Dude, our water at home smells like sulfur. It has and somebody came around, like when we first moved in, the water department was collecting samples and they were talking about sulfur. So of course, like recently I started smelling it strong again. Like every once in a while you'll smell it real strong in North Richland Hills water. And so
you're like, did I too?
I'm like,
did I too?
Oh no, or if water. That's my excuse if I toot. It's the water.
It's the water, babe.
It's the dog, the water. Toot toot. Shoot, my toots are powerful, dude. But anyway, so they were talking about like getting them to come back out and take some more samples.
Right.
But I put it on North Richland Hills residents website, and everyone's like, "Yeah, me too. Our water tastes like crap, and what's in it?"
Well, they're saying fluoride in the drinking water that you get at the store.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Well, I thought fluoride was supposed to be good. I know now that it's not.
Apparently there's an issue with it.
I know.
Shit.
Well, I was always told fluoride is why our teeth look like they do.
Yeah, I think. Which who knows? That may have just been a way to say that to get to get us cool with it.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure, fluoride, sure, okay, yeah.
Well, it is odd to add anything to what we're drinking,
water,
right?
Yeah. Besides filtering it.
Exactly.
Just filter it.
Yeah.
Why are you adding shit to the water?
Speaking of water, too, I was watching another documentary called The Grab.
Yeah.
I haven't finished it yet. You guys should totally check it out. But it's basically about farmlands and how the CCP has come into our farmlands and it has bought which we've all kind of heard by now that China's bought up farmlands.
All kinds of farmlands.
Oh, dude. This is like insane. Like even the Soviet Union sent people over to farm here to send it back to them, but then they also like take our water. Like in Arizona, the farmers are running out of water because it's been tapped by other countries.
What the fuck?
How does that happen?
What the fuck?
So, but that's another thing they're saying Trump's gonna try and bust up. He better do just people, other countries
from like
coming.
China.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because other countries don't let us go and establish farmland.
No.
Why would you do that?
No.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Why are y'all doing this?
I don't know.
Why are you doing this to us?
It's really good. Is that Clinton?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's and then people are losing their minds over Trump winning still, and then there's this big movement for women that are like withholding sex from men.
Fixing to ask you about that.
They're withholding sex from men, and that shit pisses me off because it sounds
your theory.
It's just so entitled.
Yeah.
To use sex as a weapon
yeah.
and then use it to punish men. And my thing is like, okay, you want to pull that? That's fine. I've gone a lot longer without sex than you have, lady. And this is the thing is women can't be alone.
Yeah.
Men spend 50% of their life alone, at least.
Yeah, you're right.
Women cannot be alone at all.
It's not in our nature.
Yeah. So you want to pull that, then you can go figure out what it's like to be alone. It's crazy.
Well, that's what's
I feel like Bane from Batman, where I'm like, you merely adopted the loneliness. I was born in it. So it's ridiculous. It's super entitled.
Well, what's so weird to me about it too is like literally the women are so funny to me because you're hurting yourself with that. Like even the feminist movement is supposed to be about us having equal opportunity.
Right.
The sexual revolution, us being able to figure out that sex is okay for us too. And now they keep going backwards. Everything they do is like a backwards clock. Like you're punishing yourself, honestly, because sex is good for everybody, not just men. It's not just men that, benefit from having sex. So why would you put yourself in some strange corner where you can't have love, you can't find sex, you're shaving your head? I've also heard that that's really offending a lot of people that can't grow their hair and they're going through chemo and they're attaching the fact that ugliness is a bald head, which is also kind of weird.
It's interesting.
You know what I mean? Like, why would you do that?
It's interesting.
But, and then also, we all know that most of the women that are doing that they're just, most of them are not the most beautiful women in the world to begin with. They're not. Do you see any hotties shaving their head and saying no to sex? No. It's the ones that aren't getting laid in the first place.
Yeah. And I've been in a relationship where I had somebody that was like, I told myself I would never date somebody who supported that person and this and that, and it was so stupid, because I was sitting there going, first of all, humans are very multifaceted. Right. Politics do not define a person. No. You know what I mean? And a lot of it's not so much like we believe in different things. Yeah. A lot of times you believe in the same shit. It's what differentiates you is how to go about solving that problem. Right. You know what I mean? And that's that's a lot of politics is about like, okay, we have this problem, how should we solve it? Right. Or what problems to solve? Right. It's not about like, complete black opposite. And white. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's so crazy to me.
You're right. And to continue to put people in boxes blows my mind.
Yeah, like
after everything we've learned.
I'm a way more multifaceted creature than just
of course, and so are these idiots shaving their head and saying that they're also multifaceted. It's just,
we're complex creatures. You know what I mean? It's not just about politics.
No, and it should be.
I was so frustrating when I heard that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
It's ridiculous, man.
And you're only hurting yourself. You're not hurting anybody else. I mean,
well, it's funny that like that video of Matt Gaetz that said that.
I love it.
It was so funny, dude. He's like, like you just said, it's not really the people that
are good looking. He said they're shaped like thumbs.
Yeah, that's what.
Which I thought was hilarious.
And then when they asked him about it, he's like, "Yep, be offended.
Be offended." Well, because everyone's so damn sick of not offending people.
The sensitivity.
You can't talk, I mean, there's so many. And then the craziest thing to me are the people that are still voting or still Democrat mindset are the most educated. Like most of them, my friends that are like that
are college brainwash.
Yeah, they're the educated ones. Whenever I'm like, I don't know. It's just a paradox. Yeah. Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. Like it's a contradiction.
Yes.
All over.
All over the place. It's confusing and it's not meant to be. I don't think it's good.
It doesn't make
good.
sense. Yeah. Mm-mm. And they completely believe in it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's strange. But, again, it's important to look at everything from different perspectives. I try to do that.
Stay open-minded.
But some of this stuff is just like, wow, you're really working against yourself, and you're really working against your children and the future of this country.
I think that's Rogan's power is that he stays very open-minded to every possibility, and I feel like I've pretty much been like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then you get to the point where some things are just common sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say
you have to have common
logic.
Sense. It's just logical, and if it doesn't make sense to you, then I don't know what use you. I mean, I'm sorry, but
I don't know what they're telling you.
Well, yeah, I just don't want you around me if you can't even see normal.
Yeah,
common sense goodness.
We got a good taste of that for the last 4 years, where people are like, we need common sense.
Big time.
Yeah, we need some street smarts up in here.
Big time.
We got book smarts is hanging a little lower.
Well, book smart just seems to be not very smart at all these days, because it's not, anybody can pick up a book or go to a library. I can educate the crap out of myself. I don't have to go to college. All I have to do is read and research and look into things and investigate. But it's like they've been so programmed that, because I graduated from this and I was taught this way, that I've got all the answers. And it's like, You haven't even looked under the book that they've programmed you with. Just look under it and see what else is going on.
Like I say, intelligence is learned and wisdom is earned.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. You're a nerd.
It's crazy.
That's a good one.
Well, he just appointed or tapped Chris Wright, who's the Energy Secretary and CEO of Liberty.
Who's that?
Liberty Energy. He's a big CEO of an oil company.
Really?
Just to be the Energy Secretary. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, shit, see?
I
guess he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he wants to drill back in America.
Well, so yeah, of course.
He wants somebody in that cabinet that's not inundated with the whole climate agenda.
Right.
So,
and they are
oil
drilling.
CEOs.
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah.
Well, listen, all we can do is give it a chance because so far what they've had going on is not working.
Yeah, you just sit back and wait, and everybody that, he taps for his cabinet is going to get slandered. They're all going to get...
Every single one of them.
They're going to be under the microscope, the judgmental microscope. This is how it is. I saw this thing. Have you ever heard of Morning Joe?
Yes.
That dude trips me out.
Oh, they're married too.
Yeah, and Joe is a trip. He is
hilarious.
Nuts. He is, and just so, he reminds me of a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Hair looking.
Sorry. I just saw, sorry. Okay.
It reminds me of a 12-year-old, man. And it's just crazy how immature some of these people act. And they're like,
but
they still have their
platform.
But they
believe it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, and then, but apparently him and his wife went to go visit Trump at Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they were talking about it on the...
Recently?
Yeah, a day or two ago.
Oh, did they say bad things? Or?
No, they I don't know. They went to go visit him, and they were...
That's interesting.
Mega Trump haters.
Major.
So I don't know what for exactly, but that dude says wild shit.
We'll have to.
And he screams in the camera. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. If anybody watches Morning Joe, wow.
Well, also like that Joy Reid. And those people and the View ladies, and finally Whoopi Goldberg. She's finally getting taken down a notch. So, did you see Trump at UFC?
Yeah, man, big time following.
Fun.
Yeah, it was fun, dude.
Yeah.
And John Jones, and everybody was like praising Trump, and he's been an advocate of the UFC from the start. Mm-hmm. Him and Dana are pretty tight.
Mm-hmm.
So the UFC, I really feel like, helped Trump with his campaign a lot.
Of course, yeah, they really did.
Yeah,
because it reached so many men.
Right.
So many men. I guess men really didn't normally get out and vote very much.
Probably not.
They were saying that. No, I read somewhere it was like a very low percentage of men actually would get out and vote. So he tapped into so many guys, and they did. They got out and they voted.
We're gonna go
They're
vote
like,
for this dude.
Screw this.
Yeah, man. They were talking about John Jones doing the Trump dance.
I love that. Did you see it? It was so funny.
Yeah.
And
so
then
funny.
the way that he knelt down and they were talking, Trump always seems so sincere.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like we act like he's like a rock star or something.
Right.
But he just seems so sincere, because he could have just shook his hand and did the belt thing, but then he brings them in closer and he's talking.
He likes to pull people in.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool. And I also saw someone, who was it the other day, was talking about Trump. Oh, Tyson from the Fox show, the big wrestling guy, the big Tyson.
Oh,
Tyrus. He had Trump on, and a lot of people didn't see that clip. You got to go watch it.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool. He was talking about all the good things Trump has done, and he was listing things. And he was going, how come your campaign doesn't ever mention this? And Trump said, I just don't. I just do things out of the goodness of my heart, and I don't try and spread it all over the place, which is kind of stupid. It is a campaign, and I agree. They should have listed all of the things behind the scenes that he's done.
Right.
But he was saying that he saw Trump go up to his daughter, who's like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And they're getting ready to do this interview, and he said for 25 minutes, he talked to the daughter.
Wow,
about what she was into, whatever her sports were.
He's interested.
He said, I kept waiting for him to just look like he was faking it or get bored by this 9-year-old conversation, and he was just completely plugged in.
Huh.
And that he saw him for the first time as that father and that grandfather that people keep talking about. Yeah. But, the news outlets want to punch him down all the time. They never lift him up about who he really is.
Yeah, course
So
not.
you never get a chance to see it. That's the other thing about it is the propaganda turned Trump into such a nightmare.
Yeah, that was their job.
Yeah,
their main
and
job.
so many people believe it. So I mean, he's got a lot of good behind the scene things he's done.
I don't see how anybody can watch those news channels anymore.
Well, they say that they've taken a huge nosedive.
Right.
Which, good, they need to.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it is the older people that are so hooked on it that have always read, the New York Times.
They want to believe too that like medical wise that they're good people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of older people that want to believe in this government still and all of.
Yeah, but when you open your eyes, you can never shut them.
Yeah.
Again,
eyes wide shut.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, then what? Yeah, Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of videos that are showing the fight and how Mike would have back in the day would have easily jumped up and threw punches. They said 18 punches he threw.
Wow.
And that was it.
Yeah, but that's a lot for a 60-year-old.
Well, they said Jake threw like a couple tens. Like,
did you see where Jake Paul, instead of hitting him at the end when he could have taken him down, did you see where he went like that to Tyson?
No.
Yeah. Instead, there was at the very end where Jake Paul was really, gaining some ground and stuff. He could have like knocked him out.
Oh,
he
really?
could have overtaken him, and he instead did this like Buddhist vow and like gave him his props, and then the fight ended.
What a show fight!
Right.
Well, at least they both got paid. I think that's all they really want to do is get paid.
Listen, more power to him.
Yeah.
If they're able to make that kind of money and get people involved. And
I saw a clip that somebody had posted of Jake Paul when he was like 13 doing this goofy dance in front of YouTube and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when Sunshine, she loved them on the Vine.
Yeah.
Remember the Vine was really popular. And that's how they got
a lot of
famous.
People. Yeah. I forget about that Vine, dude. It was all over
Vine.
I don't know. It was all over the place.
It was.
Somebody probably bought them out or something.
Yeah, probably. It's probably freaking Facebook now or something.
I just like the memes of them with, saying Jake Paul is now going to fight Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
The
And
dead
it's like
people.
somebody who isn't around anymore.
Yeah.
It's so funny, dude.
Yeah, that was, I guess.
I didn't watch it. I was like,
I woke up at like 2 a.m, kind of like I did with the freaking election, and caught up on it.
Yeah.
But I'd watched the highlight reel. It was pretty. I mean, it was fun. It was okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Did Ryan watch the whole thing? Or?
He fell asleep.
Yeah.
Nope. Drooled all over the couch.
Yeah. The big beautiful couch.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. So there's that, and the Diddy blackmail. He's trying to blackmail people, witnesses. He's getting like collect phone calls from other inmates.
Okay.
Like he's getting their collect calls, and so he can get on the phone and call other people and try to blackmail witnesses.
Who's letting him out of the damn quote unquote cell that he's in?
Well,
country club cell.
Yeah, they said I think he's like bribing other inmates to get their collect calls.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know, man. That's crazy. It's crazy he's in there.
It's crazy he hasn't made bail yet. It's crazy that
I think they denied him having any bail from the beginning.
Yeah. Well,
which is surprising.
Right. That's what I mean. Because usually, what's the difference?
Diddy
I guess
did
he's
it.
the same exact thing that Epstein did, huh? I mean, sex trafficking.
Yeah.
But it's interesting what makes it illegal. Because, now they're saying that their kids are involved in this whole Diddy thing. So we'll see. But there's lots of witnesses saying that. And I think one of the other reasons why he's in so much trouble is because apparently in the videos, the people that this is all happening to is under the influence. Like you can tell that they're knocked out.
Yeah, they're messed up.
Or they're not in their right mind.
Right. Well, and then I'm wondering, like, because we know, or we all pretty much think that Epstein was working for the Mossad and was blackmailing people.
Right.
Very powerful people.
Yeah.
His entire operation was a blackmail operation.
Yeah.
So, like, is Diddy
blackmailing,
doing the same operation? Who was he working for? You know what I mean?
The government. I think he was a plant for the government. I think that whenever rap and hip hop and stuff became a thing and was on the rise, they infiltrated it just like they infiltrate every other organization, every other fad on the planet.
You listen to that 80s hip hop when it was first coming out, and it wasn't as dark
No.
It
wasn't like shoot them up and
yeah.
kill you. And
yeah. When it first came out,
it was like hip, hop, hippie to the hip,
yeah,
hip,
dude. It was like a lighter beat. It was about
Run
dancing
DMC.
and partying. Yeah. and then it just gangster rap made it super dark.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many ways you could look at that because just like that Chaos book and the hippie movement and them infiltrating that and making the hippies look bad. I mean, there are people that think that the CIA and the government planted the crack epidemic, infiltrated the hip hop epidemic. I mean, they use every single thing to destroy
the import of cocaine into America.
And it was all about moving drugs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And getting people hooked on drugs, getting poverty-stricken people hooked on drugs to do their bidding. Yeah. To sell their crack and sell their cocaine and ruin.
To incarcerate more people.
To make more money in the prisons.
Yeah.
And prisons are privately owned. Yeah. A lot of them are private. That blows my mind. That should not be a thing.
I learned that a couple of years back, and I was like, what? No way?
Yeah.
What? They're private-owned prisons that do a lot of fucking, like, manufacturing type shit there. Yeah. And they put these inmates to work for free.
They do. They also make, they make labor. Things, like you said.
It's like slave labor.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But that's legal.
Instead of rehabilitating people or... the whole drug, like, just locking people up for drugs. Like
when it's an addiction.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many evil people in the world that you need to be behind bars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drugs is usually not one of them. Usually if you're doing things on drugs, it's because you're on drugs. You know what I mean? It's not because you as a human being are a horrible person.
Wanting to kill people.
Right.
Or, I mean, I don't know, this fentanyl epidemic has really changed the game and the drug game.
Yeah, it's terrible. And that's another thing. I think it's just a way for them to kill people in society, starting from the bottom, moving their way up. Now they're trying to kill us middle class people, by taking away our rights, putting us under lockdowns and COVID, creating depression, situations. Lots of suicide are on the rise. Single men, single women, not having babies. I mean, if you just look at it, like, we're in a bad situation.
There's a lot of
But again, bad situations either make or break you.
Lead to,
And you're either going to survive and see the light or,
This is, like, we've had the Renaissance period and the Enlightenment period. This is, to me, I call this the awakening period.
Yeah.
In, human civilization. That's what it seems like to me.
It has to be.
I might be hyperbolic on that, but
I mean, I think that it's pressure, pressure from all sides, like we talked about before, because it's just creating a really strange catechism. I mean, there's just a lot of different things going on that are making people reevaluate their life and see through
what's really going on.
Well, see through everything.
What's really going on?
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? But yeah, I don't know. There's so much more I want to dig into. I was a little not prepared today, but I want to
went down the Zionist. You watched that video that I sent you, and then you went.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It is wild.
Yeah. That guy, the stuff that some of that guy was saying.
Well, tell the people what we're talking about.
It's this dude named Stu Peters, and I've seen him before.
Yeah, Stu Peters show.
Yeah, he's got his own show, and he's he's on there, and he was implicating Trump and all the Trump's people in with Israel, and
them being Zionists as well,
and just a massive Satanist movement.
Yeah, and that the whole point is to take down Christianity.
Yeah.
Anybody that really believes in the true Lord and Savior, that believes that Jesus Christ is real.
Yeah.
Which is very, there's a lot going against God.
The only thing is he was tying all Jewish people into that.
He was.
I don't buy, I don't
know. I mean, I just don't know. I'm not saying that Jews are bad. I'm saying I don't know enough about, the Jew. I know that Jews are people and they're multifaceted too.
Well, there's a lot of people in Israel and people here of the Jewish religion that are completely against the Palestinian situation.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Well, his thing is because he believes in Jesus Christ and that Jews believe in the Torah, that you're automatically against Jesus Christ. He's just a black and white guy, you know, and he thinks that's the whole entire thing that's happening on the planet is because it's Jesus Christ versus the devil. I mean, versus Satan, basically, you know. And I mean, Jesus Christ is not popular. I mean, you don't get a lot of people that are just willing to stand up for Jesus Christ. So there's something in the name, and there's something going on with that, because it's always been something people shy away from.
Definitely interesting to research and ponder about.
Yes.
You know.
Well, and so that's what got me going, is I was looking into that, and then I start looking at, okay, well, what is Zionist? Okay, well, what is the black hat and the white hats? Okay, well, where was this established? Oh, well, JFK said that he was going to expose somebody. Oh, and then JFK was killed.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of laws were they writing? The legislation that they were putting into effect then, and the propaganda war machine that was going on.
And where is it all tied to?
It's so deep and ongoing, you know.
Crazy.
I keep hoping that I'll find that thing at the end of the rainbow, like, okay, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
And
and you can't. It keeps going.
Yeah.
You know, you try to look into one thing, and then it ends up, you know, connecting to something bigger and something bigger.
Well, it makes me mad at myself for not knowing world history better. I'm going to start learning it, but it does make me feel like there's a lot I don't know, and that I need to educate myself on laws in America and American Revolution and world policy and foreign affairs.
That's another thing in schools they should teach, is they should get into depth about the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence.
And what that all means.
Or in the Bill of Rights and stuff like that. Yeah.
The only person that talked about it to us was our dad. I just remember Dad always really being involved, or really standing up for the Constitution. It was really important to him. Yeah. He was really into the Texas laws and Louisiana laws. I mean, I wish I would have known to talk to him more about this stuff before he had that stroke, because I think he would have had a lot to say about the Constitution. But, you just kind of take it for granted and think that,
Yeah, and it seems like, now, 20, 30 years after we were out of school, it's only gotten less and less,
People
like
don't
they
have
really
pride
don't
in
talk about it.
No.
Well, they just don't teach it at all.
No. And they were saying that too on another podcast, is that, depending on where you live, it depends on like the critical race theory. Yeah. Like some places in New York, different states have different educational systems. They start teaching about homosexuality and all that stuff at kindergarten in some states, and then other states are middle school. But it's all being taught, And at the end of the day, it's just stuff that doesn't need to be taught. No. When they could be teaching about stuff like the Constitution or world government or
finance.
Or finance.
For God's sakes, dude.
Yeah.
Teach kids about finance, not sexual orientation.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It is really crazy. But people, man, I think a lot of moms stood up with this election and said, hell to the no.
A lot of uneducated white women.
A lot of us uneducated white women. I'm right there with my uneducated white women. Fucking assholes. I swear, that is crazy.
It's crazy.
It's so rude, too.
Yeah, it is.
It's just like the people that are supposedly so compassionate and joyous are calling everyone pieces of shit all the time.
I know. It's crazy.
Dog.
Like, what?
I don't know. But so there's a lot more to get into, but I'm definitely going to watch that Follow Cabal.
Yeah.
It's a series.
Yeah.
I've seen some documentaries on it, but there's a series about it, and the Cabal is supposedly the Zionists.
Right. And that's why, like all these international banks and heads of these families and stuff, like
anything
I feel
international.
like it leads to them.
Yeah.
I feel like it leads to these families that have been around for centuries and centuries.
Yeah.
Like the Rothschilds, like the Medici family, the Orsini family.
Yeah.
All these people, and they all intermarry with each other.
Yeah, supposedly they're really, really, what is that called? When you marry your cousins and stuff? Well, that too, but they inbred, like they keep their families in that same.
I think what they did is there was a few of and I had heard rumors and stuff like that these families used to war with each other back in the day, but then I read something where it said like these popes in the Vatican came to both families or the families and were like, you guys need to stick together kind of deal.
Because you're the most powerful
each other.
families.
Yeah. And they just grew this massive cabal type deal.
Which is what Candace Owen teaches.
Yeah.
She's really into that. She says that all of our government officials to this day have been bred and put into place.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
I'm not surprised by that.
I'm not going to hate on her about it. I mean, crazier things have happened.
It's wild, man.
Well, so do you think that, I mean, it's so strange because like the UFO stuff, they also said in that same Senate hearing just the other day that they are hovering or messing with the nuclear.
Yes, I believe that.
Right? So I wonder if this is another way of exposing what governments and what these money-driven families are doing, just that there's more UFO presence. I just wonder sometimes, is that their way of also exposing a lot of stuff, not just making sure that we don't kill ourselves with nuclear weapons, but that if we can extend our belief system to UFOs and to the fact that they're not of human nature, does that mean that other people will have to start extending that maybe there is a God, maybe there is a devil, maybe there are cabals put in place, maybe these conspiracy theories. I mean, if you have to leap to the fact that there's actual aliens that are messing with our atmosphere and our technology, then you got to believe other things too, I just wonder if it's not another way of them opening up people's minds.
Maybe, man. It's. I do 100% believe in the nuclear thing, which is some of the reason why I don't get.
It's actually really comforting.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. It's one of the reasons why I'm not too tripped out about a nuclear holocaust, because I feel like these other entities or aliens are gonna swoop in and shut that shit off. You know? But who knows? Who knows?
I always think about this dream I had, and I think I've told you before, but like I've had a couple of end of world dreams. And the first one that I really remember that stuck with me was one where the sky, I've told this story, told this story to other people, but like the sky, so I'm in a dream that we're in front of an ocean.
Yeah.
We're on the beach. Mom and I are holding hands. There's lots of people around. Some people are screaming and freaking out. Some people are at peace and they're like worshiping.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So it has to do with the ocean and the sky. And then when I look up, there were these large, giant angels is what I thought they were. Yeah. And they were pressing through the earth. Oh, but at the same time, the ocean was rising. So it's almost like both things were happening at the same time. Yeah. So now I'm like, oh, that's because there's aliens and Jesus. Aliens and Jesus are coming together, I'm telling you.
That's a trippy dream, for sure.
It was really trippy, and it was really crazy, and it has stuck with me my entire life.
Time,
And then the other one I had was in Georgia, which was like 15 years ago, but it was a scene above the Metroplex where I was at, a scene above where I lived, and there were all these bombs all over the state going off.
Yeah.
And all the communication was down. So nobody could ask what was happening in this, and it was, in my dream, I remember thinking this was a planned attack where all at the same time people were being bombed.
Well,
I wonder if I know something.
You might, dude. Premonitions.
Premonitions.
You're a medium.
I know.
You've always wanted to be a medium.
I know, because I am one.
Well, that's what was crazy too in that Sean Ryan episode with Pete Hegseth. Remember, we both watched it, where he was like, if I were these other countries or China, I would wait until Trump got into office and officially got into office, and then it would be lights out. Yeah. And he, because he was saying, because the U.S. has been at a steady decline for the last couple of years, you might, they probably don't want to mess that up.
Yes. He was saying that if this was before Trump was elected, so just a few days that we watched that episode. But anyways, he was saying that what I would do as a military guy is if basically Obama is reelected and Kamala won, that he would just let us eat ourselves from the inside.
Continue to destroy the country.
And then once we're weakened even more, look what 4 years did.
Yeah, man.
He was saying it is like a plane crash.
Yeah, it was. It's
now
like a train
Trump's
wreck.
then he was saying, okay, well, the first day Trump is in office, then I would attack, because that's going to be your weakest point, because
Right.
now he's in office.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
it looks like they're all already attacking anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, with popping off this World War III thing. But yeah, that was an interesting
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy
thing to say. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
You know, and now I'm like, man, that's.
And how they've infiltrated. I mean, there are so many theories and so much proof to me that the CCP and other entities have infiltrated the United States of America, the Chinese.
China's
yeah.
another beast.
And they've infiltrated, and they've weakened us from the inside.
Yeah.
And it's got to be about money.
Brilliant.
It's so brilliant. But they have to have, you know, these people that are Americans, that are in the government, helping them do this stuff.
Piece of shit.
What? I don't know.
Up with that?
But we're going to pray, and we're going to keep researching, and we're going to keep enlightening ourselves. And, you know, this is also super exciting.
I encourage everybody to research and look stuff up, because we don't really know what we're talking about, but we try.
No, we don't.
We try.
Yeah. But, you know, the thing is that I feel like we all have a certain feeling that things are changing, that things have to be changed, that there's something underlying.
There's a paradigm shift
going on.
For sure.
Yeah, it's not just about black and white or trans or this or that and this.
No, it's much bigger.
It's much bigger. It's a 3D game that they're playing.
Yeah.
You know?
Much bigger game.
So we'll see.
Interesting, dude.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
I'm wearing my zombie apocalypse shirt.
Yeah, show the people.
Yeah, this is the new shirt.
It's so cool.
I just want to tweak a few things, and then I'm going to publish it, but it's my zombie apocalypse shirt. It's a part of my fear porn series.
Yeah, check out his website, T Classified. He is creating his own T-shirts, and a lot of them are conspiracy tees or conspiracy theories, or to play on that. Some of it is his original artwork, which I love. And they're super comfortable, by the way. I think I've ordered like 4 of them.
They're on Bella Canvas tees, which are super soft. But I started my own T-shirt brand called T Classified. You can find it on Etsy. So go check it out. That would be awesome.
And Christmas presents coming up. If you have somebody in your life that are into these conspiracies, or that have thoughts about like the Bohemian Grove and all that, check it out, because he's got some cool illustrations.
It's fun to think about, and then I try to put a little bit of a humorous twist on them.
Yeah,
you know, so
a morbid twist.
This is the Fear Porn series. It's the 3rd shirt, and we have one about climate change and one about nuclear Armageddon, and this one's about a zombie apocalypse. So just fun. It's fun.
Which are all going to happen. It's fun. A zombie apocalypse. It's awesome.
It's fun stuff.
I need some zombie spray, because, you know, if these monkeys keep getting out, we could see our neighbors start walking back and forth.
Running back and forth, rabid. God, I hope not.
Yeah. So, anyway, there's so much going on. I love it.
Yeah.
Scary, but I love it.
I'm going to be researching some stuff tonight.
Yeah.
For sure.
I know. I wish it wasn't a whole week that we have to talk about this again.
By the time Monday starts rolling around,
then we don't have anything. I know. And I'm like, I've researched so much crap that I'm like,
oh shit, how am I going to put this together?
I know. So, you know what? I have a lot of feedback from my friends that are watching, and that are also super involved with looking into this stuff. And
it's just fun.
It is, you know, and people are suggesting like look into the weather, creation of the weather. What is that
there's
called?
So much crazy stuff.
When they can change the weather and all that
Weather
crap.
modification.
Yeah, modification. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dog.
All right.
Well, all righty.
I guess we'll see you next time.
Deuces.
Pray.